Hi there. I'm Rick Wessel, Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs, and I'm really excited that you've decided to be part of our mentorship program. Now, some of you are wondering about this training. Why is it that we're doing this training with counseling and psychological services, and in particular tonight's training on suicide prevention? What does that have to do with mentoring? And I wanted to take a few minutes to try to help you understand why I think this is really important. So, I'm so excited that we have a mentorship program. I think that it's going to do a lot of good for all of our students. And most of the time, you're just going to be giving students a little bit of advice, maybe telling them which professor to avoid for a class, or giving them some hints about how to make it through this tough engineering program. Hopefully, you'll also tell them a little bit about joining clubs and being a part of the community. That's one of the things we want to do with the mentorship program, is help students engage in the engineering community sooner, be a part of that community so they're not isolated. But I have to tell you that part of my job is dealing with troubled students. And this isn't a large fraction of our student body, but there are a few students that I run into really because they've come into academic difficulty. I end up talking to them and I realize that there's a problem and that this person needs counseling or needs therapy. And one of my jobs as Associate Dean is to make sure that they get that. And so, a couple of times a quarter, I'll walk a student over to counseling and psychological services to make sure that they get the help that they need. And when we started thinking about this mentorship program, I realized that this could be a really important safety net to help people get counseling much sooner than they do. Again, we're not talking about a lot of people. Maybe it's just one or two of the people in our incoming class who need this. So most of you wouldn't be in a situation where you would need to use the training. But the thing is, we don't know where that kid is that needs the help. And so we have to basically train all of you so that one or two of you are going to provide this great service. And I know it's a pain to come out here and spend 2 hours learning this stuff. And I think carefully about what I ask people to do. I'm asking you to do this because I think it's really important. What we're talking about here is basically saving somebody's life. Now, we're not talking about saving hundreds of lives, it's one life, but when I think about it, I think that if we save one life every 2 years by preventing somebody from committing suicide, that is worth the 90 of you in this room tonight taking this 2 hours out of your time, and I hope you'll agree with that. Another thing I want you to understand about counseling and psychological services is that, so I do talk to people who've been through the counseling, and the one thing that everybody says who eventually finds treatment at CAPS is, man, I wish I'd have done this 2 years ago. Because if we get to people early enough, you see, the thing is, most of the time, the people that I take over to CAPS, I take over there because we've discovered their mental illness because it's causing them to completely fail in their lives. Okay? So if you're able from this training to help get someone over to CAPS a year before it's caused utter destruction in their lives, think of the destruction and damage that is avoiding, the good that you can do. So is everybody in this room tonight going to use this suicide prevention training this year? Probably not. Maybe one of you will, maybe two. But isn't it worth it? Isn't it worth it to do this, to be in a position to save a life? So that's why I'm asking you to take this training tonight. And let me just close by saying I really appreciate your time. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate the time that you're taking tonight to learn these very important skills. So thanks a lot, and have a nice evening.